Yo, what is up, guys? Ethan here, back in another video, and today we are going to be talking about the Big Ten team rankings from worst to best. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe and like button. I would really appreciate it. Before we start this video, I want to thank all of you guys for hitting 100 subscribers on this channel. I really appreciate it. I've been doing this channel for over 3 years, trying to make the best football content mixed with my opinions and all that stuff. And I really appreciate if you help out the channel. And if you have, thank you. So, without that, or I don't even know, let's get straight into Big Ten team rankings from worst to best. Alright, so the first team I have in the Big Ten this year is obviously Ohio State. But before we get into that, I just want to make something aware. Even though I may have teams as overall record-wise being better, doesn't mean they have the better team. For example, I think Penn State's going to get first in the East, but Ohio State's a better team. I think Minnesota is going to win the West, but Wisconsin is the better team. Just want to get that off my chest. But the number one team in the Big Ten this year by far is going to be Ohio State. They have the best offense, and which is led by superstar quarterback Justin Fields. And then your defense, even though there's not really a key star, I would probably say your defense is probably led by Shaun Wade, the corner. This Ohio State team is, even though you definitely lost J.K. Dobbins and your offense is probably going to be pass heavy this year, you can definitely argue that this team is going to be better than last year. I definitely can see a chance they can win the playoff, even though in my East predictions they may not even make the playoffs. But I really like this Ohio State team this year. Even though they technically finished second, I think they're the best team in the Big Ten. Looking at Penn State, they have the second best offense and the third best defense. And you can debate if they have the second best defense, but personally I think Wisconsin's is better. Your offense is definitely going to be better this year. You return your top tight end and also your top receiver and Pat Freiermuth. Your quarterback Sean Clifford's going to be back and improved, and you have one of the best running back cores in the entire nation. So, really like this Penn State offense. Your defense is going to be third, and I really am a believer that the defenses in the Big Ten this year are going to outweigh the offensive this year. So I think the defenses are going to be way better this year. So, yeah. This Penn State defense is led by the best linebacker in the nation, in my opinion, Micah Parsons. And, yeah, the third best team in the Big Ten this year, in my opinion, is got to be the Wisconsin Badgers. Even though they have the fifth best offense, they have the second best defense. Your defense is probably really underrated, and they probably always are underrated. You have one of the best safeties in the league in Eric Burrell as he returns for his senior year. And your linebacker, Jack Sanborn as he returns for his junior year. Your offense is actually going to be good this year as you return your senior quarterback in Jack Coon. You return your top tight end and one of the best in the nation in Jake Ferguson, my bad. And like always, you always have a great offensive line, but we don't know how this team's going to perform offensive-wise because even though I like Coon, I think he's a little overhyped. Your running back core, you're definitely got to have to find a new star as Jonathan Taylor left. And that wide receiver core, again, I really think it's overrated. So they have the fifth best offense and the second best defense. So the next team I have is going to be the Minnesota Golden Gophers, as I have them having the third best offense and the seventh best defense. If you just plain out look at this Minnesota offense, it's clearly led by their offense. You have one of the best wide receivers in the entire nation, Rashard Bateman, as he returns for his junior season. And also returning for his junior season is starting quarterback Tanner Morgan, who had a breakout sophomore season. Your running game is going to get even better this year. And yeah, but besides those few things, even though the records may be the same, because Minnesota has one of the, if not the easiest schedule in the entire Big Ten this year, if they do not get their defense clicking, this team is going to look worse. You lose the majority of your defense, including superstar safety Antoine Winfield Jr. And also you lose your top, I'm not going to according to some, he may be the top. I personally think he was the second. Wide receiver Tyler Johnson. I was a huge fan of him at Minnesota coming into the season, and he did not prove me wrong. But someone's going to have to step up to become that second best receiver, and I personally think that's going to be Chris Altman-Bell. But even though I think Minnesota may have the better record, as we saw in the Big Ten West predictions, and in case you didn't watch it, go watch it. But even though I think Minnesota will end up winning that division, I think by far Wisconsin is the better team. Looking at number 5, and I want to combine the Michigan and Iowa. I think Michigan has the 7th best offense and the 4th best defense, while Iowa has the 4th best offense and the 5th best defense. And if you just look at those two rankings, you may be saying, okay, Ethan, why is Iowa 6 but not 5? They should be 5 and Michigan should be 6. Here's the thing. Even though I am a huge fan of the defense in the Big Ten this year, after that 4th mark, there's a big drop-off. Michigan's defense is phenomenal. I was really even considering putting them at number 3 over Penn State, even though Penn State has Micah Parsons. But I decided to give the slight edge to Penn State and give Michigan number 4. But I personally think between Michigan's defense and Iowa's defense, there's a big drop-off. And if you look at this Iowa team this year, even though they are 5th in defense, this offense is clearly the star point of this team. Your big 3 and wide receivers are going to be lethal this year. Your running back and Tyler Goodson's coming back. You have one of the best offensive linemen in the league in Aldrick Jackson. The only question is going to be, can that quarterback step up this year? That's going to be Spencer Petras as he returns for, if not, I could be mistaken, his sophomore season. But looking at the offense for Michigan, they're number 7. And even though they have a great running game in Hassan Hankins and Zach Charbonnet, I am not big on this Michigan offense this year. I think Jim Harbaugh is definitely going to be in the hot seat this year. Even though Dylan McCaffrey, he's returning for his junior year, I personally think he's going to be worse than Shea Patterson, and Shea Patterson was not even good last year for them. I really do think Nico Collins, their superstar wide receiver, is going to have a breakout year this year, and could potentially even make him in the first round conversation for the upcoming draft this year. But besides that, I am really not high on this offense this year. You also lost a lot of offensive linemen in the NFL draft. It's pouring outside, my bad if you hear the rain. But so I'm really not high on this offense. But as an overall team, I personally think Michigan is better than Iowa. Now we go on to number 7, and I have Indiana, and I am a huge fan of this Indiana team this year. I have them having the 6th best offense and the 6th best defense. And I'll be honest, I'm not in depth on this Indiana defense. I did look into it, but not as much, and that is on my end. But I am a huge fan of this Indiana offense. According to the Streets and Smith's yearbooks, which I usually get every single year, they have Stevie Smith, the running back for Indiana, as the first team. And even though I personally am not high on him, I personally would replace that with Journey Brown, as he wasn't there. It shows how great this guy can be this year for this offense. But even though he's a great running back, you have a dynamic duo in the passing game, as you have Michael Penix Jr., who is on the thumbnail today, and you also have Whop Philyor, as he's returning for his senior year. And I'm huge on this Indiana team this year, and I'm not going to stop saying it. I love this Indiana offense. I'm not sure if they're going to have a better record than last year, as they did go 8-4, but who knows? I think Indiana, even though their offense is better, very balanced team, and even though the record might not say it, as an overall team, I definitely think they will look better on the field. At number 8, and then number 8 and 9, it's iffy. This Purdue team I have at number 8, as they have the 8th best offense and the 9th best defense. And this Purdue team, it's either you're a superstar or you're trash. Well, of course, there's some in the middle, but this Purdue team, they have the most underrated wide receiver duo, in my personal opinion, in Rondale Moore and David Carr. But besides that, you really don't know who your starting running back is. Your quarterback situations, as the quarterback for the past few years, he is now gone, as he was a senior last year. Your offensive line is probably one of the worst in the Big Ten, let's be honest. And your superstar tight end Bryson Hopkins is now gone. Even though freshman Malik Carr could potentially step in and make that receiving core even better, that's just iffy. And I personally think if they did not have Rondale Moore or David Carr, this Purdue team would definitely be in the 10s or below. But this defense, it's going to be really good. Well, it's not going to be really good. You have a decent secondary, but by far the best thing on this offensive line is definitely your edge rushers. You're returning your both starting defensive ends, as that is George Karlaftis and Derek Barnes, but the defensive tackles are just iffy on the team. Your linebackers, you lost that, especially in the NFL draft, as you lost your star linebacker Marcus Bailey. But yeah, like I said, if you are not a star on this Purdue team, you're just basically nothing. I'm just being honest. The only thing that's okay is going to be the secondary this year. Number 9, I have Nebraska, and my bad. But if you, I personally have Northwestern over them technically in the standings. That is only because they have the same exact record and the same conference record. The only reason why Northwestern is ahead of Nebraska is because Northwestern beats them in the regular season, in my personal opinion. If you have Nebraska over Northwestern, I would not be surprised. But as an overall team, I personally think Nebraska gets the edge. You have the 9th best offense and the 12th best defense. I'll be 100% honest. If you're a Nebraska fan, can you name a good defensive player on that Nebraska team? Unless I'm not really a big Nebraska fan, I really don't watch them, but I can't even name one. Your offense, though, it was good, but yeah. You lost your starting wide receiver in J.D. Spielman as he has entered the transfer portal. But returning for his junior year is going to be star quarterback Adrian Martinez. And we're going to need him to have I'm not going to say a breakout season, but you need him to do way better than he did last year if this Nebraska team wants to even have, my bad, I can't talk today. If this Nebraska team wants to go over 6 wins. At number 10, I have the Northwestern Wildcats, as they have the 12th best offense and the 8th best defense. The complete opposite on Nebraska. This team is mainly on the defensive side, mainly led by senior linebacker Patty Fisher. And Patty Fisher has definitely taken a decline. Entering last year, I thought he was going to enter the draft and be a late first, early second round pick. And now looking at this year, even though he's one of the top linebackers, he's definitely falling off. Well, off the draft board, not as a player. She can definitely improve. But you did get quarterback transfer Peyton Ramsey from Indiana, as he's going to be your starting quarterback most likely this year. But besides that offense is really not special. I really like this Northwestern defense, and that's probably going to make the games that they play close. But I think Northwestern overall is the 10th best team. And then you look at Michigan State. They're 11, but actually, no, I lied. Illinois is 11, as they have the 10th best offense and the 11th best defense. And if you look at this Illinois team, they're returning actually a lot of talent, but that talent, it's just iffy. Their main star player is Michigan transfer quarterback Brandon Peters, as he returns for his senior year, as he was a transfer from Michigan. But this Illinois team, even though they're 10 and 11, man, they have to find some big holes at that running back and defensive tackle position. And geez, the Thunder is interrupting my audio. I'm sorry about that. But this Illinois team, besides you having a above average quarterback, and you have some glaring holes at running back and defensive tackle, well-balanced team. And that's why the rankings are actually pretty balanced. At number 12, we have Michigan State. And this team's going to be you're going to have to definitely look into this team during the season. Mel Tucker, he had his first coaching job last year at Colorado, as many know. And let's just say he did okay. But nobody was expecting him to get the job at Michigan State. And Michigan State had a terrible year last year, barely making a bowl game. But who knows? I'm not high on this Michigan State team. Besides Elijah Collins, your best player, all your key players have left for the NFL draft, and you're definitely going to be after looking at some key positions. That key position is probably the main one that's going to be quarterback, is you have Rocky Lombardi, who I'm not high on at all by any means. But this Michigan State team, they had the 13th best offense and the 10th best defense. Besides Elijah Collins being your best player at running back, your defense is definitely the best part of this team. And I'm not high on Michigan State at all this year. You may get an upset win. Maybe I could be wrong, but you're at you're home versus Michigan. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't look at the schedules going into this, but yeah, I'm not high on this Michigan State team at all. And for the last two teams, I didn't even make a graphic because I didn't even think they're worthy of it. Number 13, I have Maryland, as they have the 11th best offense and the 13th best defense. This defense is definitely going to struggle, but freshman wide receiver Raheem Jarrett, I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. It's not breakout because it's his freshman year. A quarterback situation, it's definitely a good one to have. You have Josh Jackson, former quarterback of Virginia Tech. He had a pretty good year last year. And then Tuala, I don't even know how to say his name, I'll be honest. Tua Tagovailoa, his brother, he's coming in from Alabama. And I personally don't think he's going to get the job, but crazier things have happened. Even though you need to find a running back to replace Anthony McFarland, this offense is definitely going to be good this year, but I don't think Maryland's going to be that top-tier team this year. And, of course, number 14 is Rutgers. They have the worst offense and the worst defense, and they're probably not even going to beat Monmouth. That's just sad. So that is it for my Big Ten team rankings, and again, thank you for getting this channel over 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. In the next upcoming days, we're going to be starting SEC week, and the first one will be the SEC East rankings. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, and like always, have a good day. Peace out.